Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of top fun retro toys, 3D printed weapons. That is a mouthful, and I'm going to leave a link to his website down in the description. Now, full disclosure here, John and I have an agreement. He sends me weapons, I review them. But I always give you my honest opinion. I think most of you guys already know this. And today we're going to be taking a look at some of the launchers, his MP40 and pouches that he sent me, and then one experimental thing. So basically, I like to break everything up into different reviews. So there's not too much stuff being thrown at people. We can look at the details of all the rocket launchers, or launchers as he calls them. They're not actually rocket launchers. But we're going to take a look at, I'm going to quickly show one off here. So you have like this launcher, and then you have this pretty cool blast effect that I don't really see anyone else doing. They do a really good job. But we're going to take a look at that. I like going over some of the world building aspects that he has been creating. So we're going to get into that. Also, like I said, we have an agreement. So if you want to get 10% off your entire order, use code PUNK with toys. Make sure you drop that A because it's not on it, but you'll get 10% off your entire order. But if you like hearing more about 3D printers, 3D printed weapons, I do a lot of them, or I have done a lot in the past. Please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified. But now, let's take a look at these weapons. Alright, so here we have everything out that I'm going to be taking a look at. And again, you can see like this is the prototype, it's not the final version. Here are the pouches for the MP40s. Again, they're all the exact same, but I just like to show that off because they really work well in the background. But let's talk about the launchers to begin with. And we'll just grab this one here. So I don't know what the actual designation of this is. He just put launchers. Now understand that the owner of the company, John, is a Marine. So these are all built onto military specs. So they look as close to being a military style as possible. So here we have a nice little stock on the back. You got the trigger guard right here. It looks like maybe this is a pump action. I don't know, or this is on a rail system. But either way, you can hold it. You got your iron sight right there. And I gotta say, a lot of these, looking at them, have been cleaned up since his earlier versions that he was doing. There's not nearly as many lines on it. Alright, but you can see the nice little detail in it as we kind of just look at where these little rivets are and everything. And now what we're going to have is this. Now I only have one blast effect, and I have to say this thing is actually really nice. It fits in all of these launchers. So, just a small little peg here. Now again, 3D printed, so you got to be careful with everything. But it has this nice smoke trailing effect. And then he painted the actual grenade, missile, rocket, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the exact name. And it looks real nice here. Got this gray here, this kind of gold, and then it's indented right here. And when you look at the port right there, this thing's just kind of plug right in there. And you can make it actually look like it is launching. Now, we will put some of these on some of these figures. You can see I have more than a few figures kind of sitting right here so we can kind of mess with them. All right, next launcher is going to be this one here. Now, these two are the same launchers. The difference is the stock is pulled out more on this one than that one. So we'll quickly go over this one. So this is a nice little compact one. You can tell that the handle here is supposed to flip up. So it's a little bit more compact. You get your big trigger guard here. It looks like some sort of sight right there. And there's your stock. But again, the more I look at these, you know, he's really eliminated a lot of the lines. Now, you're always going to get lines when it comes to 3D printing. It's impossible not to, at least from what I know. But his first ones that I reviewed had a few more lines. I like these ones. They look really nice. And once again, we get to plug that right into it. Now, you do have to be careful. This one here is okay, but some of them might be a little loose. So just be careful, maybe a little bit of sticky tack to hold that in. But that one looks like it is firing really nicely. And then again, we'll look at this one here. It is the exact same design, other than the stock is extended a little bit more. And again, you can go on, pick out whichever one that you want. And as you can see how easily these things just kind of snap right into place. Not snap, just slide into place. Here's another one. All right. I wonder, are these two the same? Nope, very different. All right. So once again, there's your port for it. I'm not sure what you can call that on the bottom there, but you got your nice little stock. These ones might be a little bit harder to hold, so if you're going to use this for a character, before you order something like this, make sure that their hands are going to actuate up and down. If they don't, if they just go back and forth, you might not be able to shoot it or pose it the way you want it to. Alright, but this may be perfect for someone like Gung Ho. Alright, and you can see the detail in it. It doesn't seem like there needs to be a lot of detail on something like this, which is probably easier for him to do, unlike when you get into some of the AKs and M4s and stuff like that. So once again, when you're looking at that, you do have this nice little blast effect, kind of just blasting off. And then the final launcher is this one here. I've always thought this stock looked kind of weird. It just has that shotgun look, but then the stock kind of just builds up kind of high. I've never fired one, so I can't say if it's beneficial to it or not. And then you have your nice little sight right here. The camera's having a hard time focusing. But there's really not too much to these, alright? Then we got this here, and again, just kind of plugs in. But what I was kind of saying is they will fall out if they're in an angle down like that. So you just want to be careful if you do order some of these, just how you're going to be posing them. Alright, eraser, don't fall over. Alright. So now what he sent me was these pouches with these MP40s, alright? And we'll take a look at both of them. Now they're the exact same weapon, other than one has a stock and one has the stock collapsed. So, big long magazine here. You got your nice trigger guard. Clearly the part that I believe you cock back before you fire. Alright, you do have a port for blast effects. Now I know I have a blast effect somewhere around here because they just removed one. I just want to make sure that they fit, so give me 1 second. Oh, here it is. Now this one seems, oh, there we go. So blast effects is Operation Monster Force blast effects, pretty much the same size as, let's say, Valaverse. The Hasbro ones are a little bit softer, so sometimes their port is a little bit thicker, so you might have to plug it in, and again, being 3D printed, you want to be very careful when you're doing that. So here we have the nice long stock here. Alright, now I don't really like this gun, to be 100% honest. No offense to you, John, I don't like it, but it does go with the Cobra Night Landing. Now here's another one here, and if you look on this side, you can see exactly where the stock is collapsed, which I think is awesome. I didn't realize that all the A-Team weapons in the show had stocks, but they were collapsed. And same thing here, we're going to have a port for blast effects, and that shouldn't have any issues. Oh, I guess this one is a little tight. Yeah, that one looks like it's a little bit too small, kind of odd. But the reason why I do this is just to kind of show you. Now I guess you can kind of get it there, but eventually something's going to snap. So you got to be very careful. No issues going in this one though. Oh, I had the gun upside down. I don't want anyone to get mad at me about that. All right. So just be careful. Watch what you're doing. Now here are the pouches. All right. Now these are the magazine pouches. Nice little detail. You got the belt buckle that's holding it down. Alright, there's nothing on the side, but he just sent me 4 of them. I like this because I could just kind of use them all over. Put them on top of the Hella Dope boxes there. So this is the type of stuff that I think is really neat, really nice. You can tell that it's supposed to be a soft pouch. I'm assuming this is for the magazine, considering it looks about to be the same size. If you're going to want to put this on a character, you're going to want to use a little bit of sticky tack. Alright, and just kind of like put it on the front of their vest. Alright. And then we have this prototype here, all right? 200 cartridges, 7.62 millimeters, M13 cartons. It just tells you everything. I really like the stuff that he's doing. I think this is actually really cool. You can tell this crate is supposed to open up. Here you have your latch for it. And again, I'm seeing less and less lines, but he goes through and he paints everything on the inside here. So this is all indented. Here's on the top. Unfortunately, this doesn't open up where you can actually hold it or carry it. That'd be a nice little design there. It is hollow on the bottom. That way it's going to cost a little bit less for him to create. But again, I guess you might have them like this laying down, but if you do, you can just kind of spin it that way. Mostly they're going to be just sitting right there. All right, now let's just grab a couple figures and see how these things look. And we'll grab this retro flint. See if I can make it a little bit better. Pop this off and move that because I know that's going to move up and down. All right, so this is what I was talking about with the wrists. You don't want a wrist that goes this way, so let's try. We'll try this one here. Now again, these are going to be difficult in my personal opinion to get to use the stock. Now there's nothing he can really do about that, and I don't think you're going to be able to get the stock to work. Well, I guess you can. So this is what I was talking about. If you have some of the older figures, classified, these ones go in and out. They're not going to be able to shoot that way, though they're left-handed. So you can use your left hand to make the limp wrist, as they have been called. And you can see I have a lot of the Top Fun retro weapons on here. All right. So I actually think this looks really good on. I think this actually looks really good on retro flint. You better bet that I'm gonna have this one on one of my pictures here. So here we go. Pop that thing in, and now you are. Again, here, if you want to think, imagine being in the Predator. There you go. He's firing that. It looks really good. This is the retro flint, and believe me, I know. Before someone says, "How did you get it?" There's ways. All right. This one's going to be harder to show just because he's clear. So this is an Operation Monster Force figure right here. All right, with a Marvel Legends head to do the a custom of the I forget what movie Hemsworth was in, but this is his actual weapon that Top Fun did. All right, so let's find something that makes a little bit more sense. We'll use this here. And we can easily kind of plug this in. Now again, 3D printed stuff, if you're not familiar with it, be very careful because you can easily snap stuff, all right? It's not built of the same type of material that Hasbro's going to give you, which is actually normally pretty damn soft to begin with. So what we're going to do is take this here. And again, another nice, cool little shot. And again, I know someone's yelling at me that I can't remember what what movie this is from, but someone's going to know exactly what it is. All right? And then let's take a Marvel Legends, this latest Punisher right here. Now, this is not a Top Fun Toys. This is the Gridiron. I'm going to move that there. Like I said, I do a lot of different ones here. So we're going to use this MP40. This is something I could see the Punisher using because, well, he's going to use anything to take care of anyone that he needs. Now this thing might actually work perfect here. Get a little bit of sticky tack, kind of pop them right there in front of it, and then he kind of has the a black version of his mouth. So, but we kind of take the blast effect. Was this the one that worked? Yeah, that's the one that worked. So there you go with that. And again, as you can see, we got the Punisher, who doesn't really care what type of weapon he is going to be using. So you can see there's three different companies. Operation Monster Force, we got Hasbro, and then we got Marvel Legends, all using these types of weapons. I can assure you they work with Valaverse, although I do not collect Valaverse anymore, so I have a very few around here. As a matter of fact, I can show you, here's the Valaverse buck that I still do have with a Top Fun toy. So you know they all fit. They do look pretty good. It's something different. There's a lot of 3D printers out there. A lot of different companies doing it. I think these ones work really, really well. So anyway, a link to it, like I said, a link to the website is going to be in the description. Also use my code PUNKWithToys. I'm going to leave it all right below so you know what to do. Alright, so there you go. That is some of the launchers, these MP40s and pouches, along with this little experimental piece that he had. So anyway, I love this type of stuff. The reason why I kind of put this together is you don't see a lot of people doing the launchers. It makes it easier for you to see. And then I like the pouches. I like this little experimental ammo canister, whatever it is, the cartridges. This is what you like to see in the back of pictures when guys are doing reviews. It just kind of sits there. It adds depth. As wonderful as some of these extreme sets are, it's just a cardboard background. If there's no depth to it, it's actually pretty boring. And this is what I love, because 3D printing is really the way to go when it comes to creating stuff like that. So I think it's time to get out of here. Like I said, I'm going to leave in the description a website, the link to the website. Use my code PUNKWithToys. Drop the A, you'll get 10% off everything. But before we do take off, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop some sort of 3D printed stuff, Top Fun Toys or many other brands. But what I am going to do is up here is I'm going to leave you a link to one of the other Top Fun reviews that I've done, and down here is going to be a playlist of all the 3D printed stuff that I've done. Take care.